Several lessons ago, I told you that we always have to put the subject first in the sentence, followed by a verb or a predicate. But it's only when we have some particular subject to talk about, right? What if our accent is not on the subject itself, but on its location, number, or the fact that it exists without giving any additional information about the subject? In this case, we use the phrase, there is, or there are. The most accurate translation of the phrase, there is exists. There is a mouse in my room. Translates, exists. A mouse in my room. We don't describe the mouse. We only say that it exists in the room. Nothing else. Imagine that you lost your car key. You shout, "Where is my key?" And your wife shouts back, "Your key is in the living room." We have a particular subject, key. Your key is in the living room. Your key is our subject. In the living room is the description. Its location. Let's look at another example. Your wife is cleaning the kitchen. Then she sees something under the table and shouts, "Honey, there is a key under the table. Is it yours?" In this sentence, we don't describe the key. We just say that some key exists, lies, under the table. Our accent here is the location, under the table. Another example, there are many clouds in the sky. I think it may start raining. We don't describe clouds. We only say that they exist in the sky. We don't characterize them. We don't give any additional information about the clouds. Compare it with this example. "Oh, those clouds are black and really scary." Here we characterize the clouds. We don't just say that they exist. We describe them. Another case when we use there is when we concentrate on the number or quantity without giving any characteristics. For example, "I'm not going in there. There are so many people and I hate crowd." There are so many people. We don't describe those people. We don't characterize them. If we add more information like, "Those people don't look very friendly," we have a particular subject, those people. In the previous example, there are so many people there. We concentrate only on the big amount of people that exists in that place without any description or characteristics whatsoever. In questions there, and is or are change places. Is there? Are there? Is there anyone who can help me? Is there anything I can do for you? Are there a lot of tall buildings in New York? How many tall buildings are there in New York? To make a negative, we use there is not, or its contracted form, there isn't. And there are not, or its contracted form, there aren't. Don't be afraid. There isn't anyone here. There aren't many people left who remember this. To summarize, when we have a particular subject that we describe, we put this subject first. When we don't talk about a particular subject, but only say that some or several unspecific subjects exist, without giving any description, we use there is and there are. Also, I want to tell you an interesting phenomenon. The contraction of there is there's, and the contraction of there are is also there's. For example, there is nothing else I can do for you. There's contraction of there is. There's hundreds of species of spiders living in Australia. There's contraction of there are. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more useful grammar lessons.